a little news idea. I do Uwes week in English and in German in two different streams per week. Here is the English version, and it will be a little shorter because we recognize Uwes week. A lot of people are not watching it all the way through. That's the reason from now on a shorter in English first and then in German. Run was yesterday running in Berlin in the Astor film launch, and I was basically per Zoom there and answered a lot of questions about the movie. I think there were like 70 people in the audience, a good discussion for an hour. Most of the people really liked Run and see the political impact of the movie. And I reported also that Run was denied in Cannes, not with my dog in the bag, in Cannes, in Venice, in Toronto, in Tallinn, in Sundance, in Berlin, from all the big festivals. But it's a very honest film about the migration crisis in Europe. That's a lose-lose situation for everybody involved. It's now on Apple, Amazon, Google Play, in the US also, I think on Roku, on Fandango, and. So keep watching it. It's an important film, similar to my Heart of America, for example, where I found Elizabeth Moss, who's now a superstar, and developed her talent or her talent. And this movie about the Littleton school massacre flopped also totally. Or my movie about the jail murder in Siegburg in Germany, where 3 people killed somebody. Stoic in Germany, Siegburg, also a very important movie about problems in jails. Sam Levinson, now the Euphoria superstar creator on HBO. I also gave him his first shot as an actor, and he did a great job. So another star I found and developed. And the third one, I had this week a nice talk about a possible project with Nate Parker. Nate Parker, as we know, Birth of a Nation, biggest acquisition of Sundance of all times, I think for 17 million, or at that point. And then he also got kind of cancelled, but he was also doing various other very good movies. The Great Debate with Denzel Washington, and I gave him the first big shot in Tunnel Rats. So I can really say that I found some great talents during my lifetime. Julian Clark edited Postal. I saw his talent. Deadpool, Oscar nominations as an editor. So yeah, I gave a lot of people the first shots, and a lot of people were big stars, and then a lot of people don't call me back after. Jason Statham now supposedly makes 20 million per movie on my In the Name of the King 1. And he turned into a superstar. Now, yeah, okay. Hopefully he calls me back. Have a good project for him. Yeah, so, but yeah, the discussion about Run was very good. For us, it's also now interesting to see how much money you can make back if you like Run is loaded up day to day, basically almost worldwide on Amazon, Amazon Prime, etc., and Apple, and crystal clear out of Asia or Africa or Latin America, we basically have no views at all. And people told us at the FM film market also that TVOD, so this means the first tier of you have a film and people pay for it, doesn't exist in this more towards third world countries because of BitTorrent and whatever, the illegal watching, and also people are used to just watch Prime or YouTube advertising driven, the AVOD, advertising VOD. And it looks for me that in these countries we almost have to load the movie up for free, and we're only making between, like in India, for example, in India on Amazon Prime, if somebody watches your film, he gets maybe 1 cent per view, and only if they watch 10 minutes or longer. So, and then we have whatever, let's say Brazil, you maybe get 2.5 cents per view. So somebody's watching from Thailand, Halialo. Can you check right now during I talk if in Thailand is Run available on Apple, Amazon, on Google Play? And text me here in the chat. Would be very interesting for me to check if that movie is even there available, if you find it. The same to everybody else who listen to me in other countries, like say you're from Spain, France, Italy. Please text me right now. I'm live on Insta, live on YouTube, Uwe _ Films on Insta, and here on Studio YouTube, my YouTube channel. So give me that information if in your country actually the movie's running. That's very important for me. Yeah, but that means basically the TVOD, the pay TV of the internet, basically, really outside of Europe and outside of North America, is that it doesn't work. People want to watch the films for free. And then you really need, of course, millions and millions of views to make any money back. Otherwise, you make $1,000 or $2,000 back with a movie like Run, what cost 1.5, 1.6 million to make. And that brings the status quo of the film industry to a very problematic situation. So if you don't have a streamer paying all your bills, then of course there's a problem. Because if you make a movie and you go into financial risk to do the movie, you're basically stranded with fans and people who watch your movie and pay for it. But if they're not willing to pay for it and only willing to watch it for free, then you need a lot of people watching your movie for free. And that's a very, let's say, a rigged system, Trump would say, based on the fact that you would have to because the movies Amazon buys and pays money for, they should putting them in the front of the top 10 and so on in the viewer situation. And so you also have a hard stand to climb up the ranks if you don't have the support of the streamer, because they didn't bought the SWOT, the subscription VOD from you. And so, and what I mean with the RIG system in Europe is that in X amount of countries, especially France and also Germany, you have a combination between subsidies and free TV money, public TV money, where we all pay tax dollars for to receive the ARD, etc. in Germany. So they paying all the bills, and means these movies who get completely subsidized, they don't getting in any form. They don't have to make any sale because they're completely paid by the TV and the subsidy station. So now if this movie is totally bomb, the producer is not bankrupt. The producer took already his cut out of the budget. That's problematic. Yeah, Arno is asking, Arno, you have to wait also for my German podcast, and we will, I will hopefully get this from Run the video, or Arno, tell me where it is, and I can find it. Wait 1 second. Kannst du mir, I will ask in Berlin if they can send me the video from the discussion. Then I will make that public, but it's in German language. Yeah, the good news is that we will close within the next day the US-Canada deal for Citizen Vigilante. The German-speaking deal is already closed. We're working on more countries to close the deal. And so we will see how many countries actually pay upfront for Citizen Vigilante, so that at least I get some money back for Citizen Vigilante. Because on Run, as everybody knows, I talked about it before, not a lot of people were willing to pay upfront. So then the American film market happened, and I tried and went in contact again to Lionsgate and have some others that may be interested in 23 years later return to Zombie Island to piggyback on that new $50 million Paul Anderson film with Mila Jovovich, blah, blah, blah. Also there, you can say the market reacted all excited, but when you say, okay, you need to pre-buy the movie, like you have to say for Japan, I give you $50,000 or whatever. And that also so far didn't happen. So that movie, we have Indiegogo starting next week, and on bollfilms.com, you can buy perks, whatever. I got 3 groups ready to pay $10,000 as a co-producer, and we have around 15 people who bought perks so far for like 100 to $250. That's of course not enough. That's the reason we're going for Indiegogo also, and I hope you will support it, or everybody of you. You just can go to bollfilms.com, you click on 23 years later, and then you see the perks and you can pre-buy it. But of course, if we don't get a co-producer and we don't get, like, let's say at least 3, 4, $500,000 with the crowdfunding, then it will not make the film. So I didn't call it also the people who paid the 10,000, want to pay the 10,000 as investment. I told them, keep your money and you pay only if I greenlight the movie. Everybody else who bought perks will get the money back. Or if I do another movie, a different movie, whatever, I plan 12 hours, for example, a very harsh action movie. And if you want the perks for this movie, you will move towards 12 hours. So I will offer everybody, you want to do the media book or whatever, pre-buy this kind of stuff. And if not, then the money, if you say, no, I just wanted to invest in 23 years later, then you get the money back. But that's the reality. And the other reality of film business, of course, is also everybody wants action, but they don't want to pay for it, right? So, and that's the problem. So basically, if the film industry reacts to the market situation, you have to do the following. You have to shoot an action movie for $40,000, you know, and that's what a lot of people are doing already, because that's what you can get back on YouTube. I mean, it's kind of a bitter situation, but I don't want to drag everybody totally down. It's still great to make movies, and you can make movies in today's times cheaper. But at the same time, it's very hard to get deals. And I mean, SVOD deals that you sell to a big streamer is impossible if you don't spend real money and you have real cast. So now you're already in the $1 or $2 million league to get real cast together and to make a real movie. And then if they don't buy it and pay you the money back, then you're fucked. Because as I just said, the pay-per-view is not paying properly to you, because you get per view. Let's say on Amazon, let's say you buy on Amazon for $6.99 the film, you get half. You basically can say Amazon gets half, you get half. So it's $3 per person. So now you need 100,000 people to make $300,000 back. And that's a real problem, you know. And Christian asked, what do you think would get producers to be more brave? I mean, there is like nothing. I mean, you have completely two different worlds. You know, you have the completely ignored people who try to convince investors or try to convince people to work for free and everything to make movies happening. And then you have the other group who would never do a movie, would never invest in a movie, and they just file application after application after application to get subsidies, tax breaks, and TV or streaming deals. And if they have it together and the money comes in, they take their fees out, they shoot the movies, they shoot the TV series, they make good money. And if it flops, it's not their problem, because they all got paid. So that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants to make films and TV series without going in any risk. The people who are willing to go in a risk are basically the people who have no other draw, who have no other chance. Like I send stuff to streamers, I send stuff to TV, I send stuff to subsidies for now 25 years. But if I don't get it, I have two options. I try to use my money and other people's money and whatever and say, look, let's shoot the film and hopefully we can sell it good and we make some money. Or I'm completely out of the business and I can focus on walking the dogs or working somewhere else, you know. And that's the situation. You know, I'm lucky that I made so many movies, so I have money coming in from my old movies through the library. But a lot of other people don't have that luxus, and they go full risk. They make movies at the AFM, at the film market in Los Angeles. You couldn't see. They were like various movies where people spent all their inheritance, or the parents paid the movie, or the uncle, or some rich people, whatever. And then in 98% of the time, they will lose their shirt, and then they work in a bank as a bank teller, or they open a um, plumbing business. So that's the reality. Yeah, there's also, Christian says, I think Germany drove itself into a dead end because producers only know the way of getting funding, and that's 100%. That's exactly how it is, because they are never thinking about the audience. They only thinking about, how can I get that subsidies? And for example, with Run, I got no subsidies and no festival invitations and no free TV deal, because it's not a movie just plainly pro-migration, where migration is the best thing whatever happens, right? So because it's an even out situation, it's like that migration went into a dead end and lose-lose situation, especially in Europe. That is then basically enough for them to say absolutely no to that movie, because I have a full boat of refugees, and that refugee boat, you have one guy who is connected to drug gangsters, and then you have another guy who later takes a kid as a hostage, but you have also 80 guys who just want a better life and want to ask for asylum and whatsoever. That's the quota. And I think that's the real situation of the European migration. It's like 95% or 96% of the people coming over are in a good phase. They want a better life and they would work for it. But same in the US, the illegal immigration, they're coming in, but they want to, when they have to work there, because they're not getting like a lot of social subsidies, what you get in Germany. That's the situation, basically, and it's of course tough to see how the population is not able to have an open discussion about the migration issue and how to fix it. And yesterday in the Berlin screening, I said that to fix it needs that who comes in and is there right away gets into the language course to learn the language and a job. Getting into a job, like saying, you are here is your little mini apartment, and we pick you up every morning at 8, and you learn for 3-4 hours German language, and in the afternoon you work 4-5 hours for the city hall, for the park creation, whatever. You clean the parks, you work at the garbage removal, you work at the to sort things out in a kind of a Best Buy, whatever. Like they're getting right away into the workforce, and it's clear that after 3-4 months of the language course, they go full-time work, they pay taxes, they integrate, and that's the way to integrate them. Work is the best way to integrate them. And I think that went lost in Germany because of the bureaucracy. They're not allowed to work. They're sitting there, they're getting money. Then they're getting criminals because they're bored. Then people come, oh, you want to deal some drugs at the railway station? And. Or they're getting radicalized and taking on radical Islam and lose their shit. So all this stuff is happening, very problematic in Europe. In the US, it's a little different. In the US, I think a lot of people got deported without even, they were illegal, but they got deported for absurd reasons, because they were not costing America money. They were bringing America money, and they were working hard, and they had apartments and cars, and the kids went to the US to school already, and they worked for 20 years in a restaurant, and then they're getting deported. That's completely fucking insane and absurd. In Europe, we have a totally different problem. We have the problem that they cost us 50 billion in Germany alone every year, because they don't work, they lean back, and getting paid the apartment, the healthcare, money every month, and they're sitting the whole day there and saying, I don't know. And then if the asylum comes in, like, oh, you're not uh, valid to get asylum, they also don't leave. And they're getting paid, we keep paying them. So in Germany, it's the fault of the government to handle the migration completely wrong. And I think in the US, migration, especially from Mexico, made it happen that construction is going, gardens getting treated, restaurants are working, whatever. If you throw all Mexicans out of the US is done. It's like fucked. Nobody works on the fields anymore in the US besides migrants. So that was like a huge mistake to throw everybody out there. And, that's idiotic. Now, yeah, that was it in English. And now I will stop that stream and then I go back on in German language, where I will talk a little more about the politics. So the English one was all about the movies. So if you didn't watch it, please watch Run, post about Run, share the link like on Amazon and everywhere, or the Apple link. Help it that it recoups some money, let's say it this way, right? So that would be very nice and important for me. Okay, stream closing, and then comes the German one.